Today, I went to Claremont and picked up my new Tesla. Okay, so let me give you the backstory because I am not a Tesla person. Setting aside all the political items because I know that there's a conversation around that right now, I'm just genuinely not a fan of them. I'm not crazy about the way that they look. I don't see the value in self-driving, and I'm not a fan of sedans. They're just genuinely not my thing aesthetically. I wanted an SUV or a crossover. I did not want a sedan, and I really did not want a Tesla, but then we ran the numbers. I'm gonna walk you through everything today. Why I fought this decision, what the numbers actually look like driving in Central Florida at my mileage, which by the way is a lot, what the EV structure might look like here versus what you're used to, what at-home charging really costs to set up, and what happened when I got my quote. Oh, and by the way, I sell real estate here in Central Florida, so if any of this is landing for you because you're looking to make a move, stick around to the end. My last two cars should tell you everything that you need to know about what I actually like. I had a 2017 Ford Explorer that was just way too big for me. And then I had a 2022 Audi Q3, and I loved that car. It was perfect, but we brought it down from Canada, and the cost to import that to the States right now is just crazy. So we're sending it back, and we were on the hunt for a new car. I also want to say that I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I can be a little bit picky, and I don't take that for granted. That said, I also wanted to make sure that what I was getting made sense for the money that I'd be spending. I can drive 25 to even 35 or 40,000 miles in a year. I go all the way to the east side of Orlando and then way back out to the west side. When I knew that I needed a new car, doing an EV was a really easy decision. We looked at new, we looked at used, we looked at the Volvo Recharge, we looked at the Cadillac Lyriq and Optic, and I test drove them and sat in them, and all of them just didn't compare financially every time we would put them against a used 2023 Tesla. Here's the thing about EVs is that people see the sticker price on them. They're 40, 50, 60 or more $1,000, and stop there. It's expensive. But there is another option. Tesla has cut their prices significantly over the past couple of years, and if you bought a couple of years ago, that might hurt. But if you're buying used right now, there's a lot of opportunity. We bought a Model 3 that at the time that it was new started at just over $40,000. We got this one for just around $26,000 all in. That's $14,000 to $15,000 of depreciation that somebody else absorbed. We just showed up and benefited from it. So here's what the numbers look like at the pump versus at a charger. Using 28,000 miles as a little bit of a midway point, in a typical gas car at 30 miles a gallon in Florida, where the average gas price is around $3.25 a gallon, you're spending about $3,000 a year on fuel. That's a lot. Now, in the Model 3, charged at home at around 15 cents per kilowatt hour in my area, those same 28,000 miles cost just over $1,000 a year. That's almost $2,000 in savings every single year, just on fuel before you even touch maintenance. Then you have to consider there's no oil changes with an EV, no transmission fluid, no timing belts, no spark plugs, or any of those other car things that I really don't know anything about. The maintenance list on a Tesla Model 3 is genuinely really short. Tires, brakes, air filter, there's not a whole lot more. I'm a realtor, and so I help people make decisions based on numbers every single day. And these numbers were hard to argue with. Now, let me show you how this purchase actually worked out. I bought this car on my phone. Tesla doesn't sell through dealerships, they sell direct. So there's no manufacturer to dealer markup, no middleman, no finance office trying to sell you a warranty that you really don't want. The price is the price. I went to used inventory filtered by Model 3, and you can see the mileage, the battery health report, the full vehicle history, and I found this one, paid the deposit to hold it, signed digitally, and maybe 15, 20 minutes total. I negotiate for people every single day as a realtor, so you would think the fact that there's not really any negotiating on a Tesla would bother me, right? It was actually a huge relief. Taking away that whole cost layer meant that I didn't have to worry about negotiating for myself on this. I just had to go and pick up my car. And even without doing any negotiating on this, it still came out ahead of the other options that we were taking a look at. So now I want to answer a question that I get a lot. Does Florida even make sense for e-ownership? And the answer is yes. In some ways, it actually makes more sense than California. Let me explain that. California electricity rates can typically run around 25 cents a kilowatt hour or higher. Many areas in Florida are around 14 to 15 cents. That could be an extra $800 or $900 a year in savings. What a lot of people also don't realize is that Florida is actually third in the nation for EV charging, right behind California and New York. One of the first things that I did when I purchased the car was obviously I wanted to check out where the charging stations were. And to me, it wasn't necessarily quite important that I charge at a Tesla charger, but I did want to know where they were all going to be. So there are charge point stations and some other companies that have popped up. And even though though we purchased used, it did come with an adapter. In the Orlando area alone, there are truly hundreds of locations. Just on the west side of things, my PlugShare app shows over 99 different locations. I want to give you an honest comparison because I think that the specifics are a lot more useful than just saying, yes, the chargers are there. Something that might surprise you is that Orlando actually has more EV charging stations than gas stations now. That's not number of pumps to number of chargers, but overall locations, there are more EV stations. The honest difference here between California and Florida is where the chargers actually are. In California, it seems like the EV charging stations are just woven into the infrastructure. So they are at apartment complexes, they're at grocery stores, they're really everywhere. Here in Florida, they are concentrated around shopping plazas, tourist areas, and major highways. Very convenient if you're near those, which most of us are, but maybe not so much if you're in some of the outer areas. It's just not quite as woven into everyday life yet. The gap is noticeable if you look for it, but it's probably not a gap that you're going to feel frequently. As a Disney person, here's my favorite part. Disney has a ton of e-stations, and they're almost always right at the front of the parking lot, which is awesome. Now, there's only a couple of spots per park, so if there's not availability there, you might have to park in a regular spot, but just the opportunity to do that is a huge bonus. Here's why I'm walking you through all of this instead of just saying, get a Tesla, it's great. We had our electrician come out to quote everything and just really figure out exactly what was going to make sense for us. But before they came out, they said typically it runs between $500 and $2,500 depending on how difficult the install job is, which is totally fine because our electrical company has a program where we can get a portion of that back. So cut to them coming out and looking at everything. It was going to be $6,500, which is obviously a far cry from that upper end $2,500 that we were initially anticipating. The reason being is because of where the panel is and because of where our garage is and because of how our backyard space is, it's just the perfect storm for it to be very expensive. We are probably in the minority of situations where this perfect storm takes place. And when we purchased the house, we were not EV people. It was not a thing that was important to us. That new price point, that $6,500 that came in, that was outside of this charger, which was $500. And it was also outside of the permit, which can run anywhere between $50 and $200, depending on where exactly you live. If you have an attached garage, or if you have a sub panel in your garage, those numbers are gonna look totally different. You could probably maybe even be on that $500 scale of things, which makes this a whole lot more affordable. Our situation is genuinely more complicated than the average person. So before we did anything, we just paused. We did obviously not install the charger, and we just sat on it while we ran some numbers and thought through what our game plan for this house was. This is my second time filming this because our plans keep changing. Part of getting the EV was because of some of the savings that we were going to get. I think that we worked out that the break-even point was going to be close to around 5 years. With 2 EVs, obviously that would be closer to 2.5 or maybe even 3 years. We want a little bit of flexibility in the home that we're in right now. Our goal is that we are going to keep it and we are going to use it as an investment property at some point in the future. And we want to be able to have that flexibility to make a move without feeling like we're losing a ton of money. And as a realtor, I know that is not an investment that we are going to get back dollar for dollar. So ultimately, what we decided was we are not going to install the charger. So here's the actual plan. Level 1 charger on the standard outlet in the garage, and then supercharger for the rest. Even just charging at the superchargers, we're still going to be saving money over a gas vehicle because we did need to buy a new car. And there's one close enough to us that it's genuinely not inconvenient. We're not going to be saving as much as we initially anticipated. Our savings are actually going to be closer to $1,200 or $1,800, so not as much as before, but I'll take it. So in Orange County, which is where we are in Orlando, a level 2 charger does require a permit. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because Duke Energy, who's the energy provider where we are at, does provide a reimbursement for some of that install fee. Your electrician will pull the permit and then an inspector from the county will come out and make sure that everything was done correctly. This is going to be a very similar process whether you're in Orange County, Lake County, Seminole County, Osceola County. What programs are available for your home charging is going to be very dependent on what neighborhood you live in and what utilities facilitate it. If you're in one of the western suburbs, you're probably going to be with Duke Energy, but that is definitely something that you do want to check on. Duke Energy actually has 2 different programs. So they have a one-time program with up to just over $1,100 in credits, and that goes towards the electrical infrastructure work. And so that's going to include your wiring, your conduit, all of those things that we talked about. That was going to cost me $6,500. Now, I believe that upper end is actually specific to new construction communities. So you do want to check with your electrician. They'll be able to chat with you. I think that what our maximum amount is going to be is $800 that we're going to be able to get back for our specific property. Then the second program that Duke Energy has is off-peak energy. So they have a credit for charging during off-peak hours. You get approximately $7.50 off of your monthly bill, so that works out to $90 a year. Those off-peak hours look like weekends and holidays, and then any day 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. If you are in Orlando proper, so you have OUC utilities, then you get around $200 back when you lease or purchase an EV. You do need to apply within 6 months, but my understanding is that is good for both used and new EVs. Plus, if you go to a dealership that is participating and test drive an EV, you can actually get a $50 gift card. I don't have a whole lot of details on what else that looks like, so I was just investigating that if that's something that you're interested in. If you're in Osceola County, you're probably with the Kissimmee Utility Authority. They give you a $100 rebate on your install, but they've also had programs in the past where they actually give you the charger at a low interest rate. So look into that as well if that's an area that you're in. Your address is going to determine what your utility company is, and then your utility company is going to determine how cost effective this install is going to be for you. To make things nice and easy on you, I'm going to put all of those links in the description. So if having home charging at a new home in Central Florida is something that is important to you, it's important that you take that into consideration when you're home shopping. When we purchased our home, we did not ever think that we were going to be switching to EVs. You want to have a realtor that is going to take where the garage placement is, where the panel is, all of those things into consideration while you're shopping, and remind you, even if it's the perfect house, this is going to be an extra cost that may be added on, because placement of those things can change your quote by thousands of dollars. Trust me, I know from experience. This is the kind of thing that I walk my clients through every single day, not just schools or is the commute good, but all of the practical things. If an e-charger is important to you, then that's a conversation that we should be having while you're still house hunting, not after you've already made the purchase. Okay, so let me put this all together for you. Car, $26,000 after someone else already absorbed the $14K. Bought on my phone in 20 minutes. Annual savings at my mileage is going to be between $1,200 to $1,800 every year. Electricity rate, roughly half of California's. There's e-charging stations at every Disney park, Disney Springs, and most of the resorts. Florida is the third largest EV charging state in the country, and no oil changes, ever. And yes, it's a sedan. It's not what I would have picked aesthetically, and I wanted a crossover or an SUV. I didn't want this car. But at this price, mileage, market, and with this infrastructure, math won. And I'm totally okay with that. Truly, I'm genuinely happy where we landed. If you're looking to make a move to Orlando Metro, Central Florida, West Orange County, Windermere, Horizon West, Winter Garden, anywhere in between, and you're looking for somebody who's going to be straight with you about the numbers, then that's how I try to show up for my clients every single day. Please reach out to me. The link is in the description. I've been staying in the parking lot for way too long now. Let's drive the new car. I'm just kidding. I have a Tesla now. It's going to drive me.